those things up and off. And to be honest with you, you want them up and off. When I walked up there, we were talking about if that hurricane that was up north came down here, you would have those condensers literally would have been lifted up, flying off the building, and some of you hurt. We don't want that. So here it is. This is what we talked about. It's what's referred to as a single ply roof, which means it's a single layer. It's a very thick single layer, 115 mil. And then the 1/4-inch Den's deck that is on the parapet walls, and that's coming up, wrapping over. And then the flashing, right now you have, what is it flashing? It's,
I mean,
I don't know if you have any, you have a,
PVC?
I think it's, you have a couple different flashings up there. It will all be stainless steel flashing. And again, made in the shop, so it's made specifically for you. You can actually pick the color too if you like. And then you have the TPO wall curve flashings, and there's a 20-year guarantee on the roof. It's a 2-year guarantee on the workmanship, and then a 20-year guarantee on the roof itself. And what happens is when these two things, where you have the TPO. So what happens with the fleece back on 4 inches in on here, you'll see there will be no fleece. And what happens is they take that, and that sits over the next layer by 4 inches, and then they have this machine. We have this machine that comes down and actually superheats it, and so it molds it together. The warranty on this, and what the manufacturers are really warranty, is that seal will stay for 20 years. That it will not.
Can you show it to Zoom line?
Huh?
Can you show it to Zoom line? They can see it.
So this is the fleece back, and 4 inches into this thing, there will be no fleece on it, and it melds into that piece on top. So this becomes basically one unit. The warranties on these 20-year warranties, these manufacturers do uphold these warranties as long as you maintain the roof. When you see them coming back and saying, 15 years in or 12 years in, if you abuse this roof and you don't take care of it, someone pay up and clean it, once a year and stuff, that will void the warranty. So
you mentioned a 2-year warranty. What happens?
20-year warranty.
20, right, but 2 years for the first contract. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what happens in the 3rd year and going forward? How does that work?
Well, in the 3rd year, if it lasts 3 years, there should not be a workmanship issue. The only reason that there would be, if there's a workmanship issue, like we punctured something and we were working on it, it's going to show up within the first 6 months. But we do have them preventative maintenance programs.
That's what I took out.
Yeah. So I think the preventative maintenance programs are not expensive. I bet for this community it's about $3,600 a year to maintain all the buildings. We'll be coming out, sweeping them clean and all that kind of stuff.
And we are very thorough with the preventive maintenance. And for Nikki and whoever manages your property, everything is stored in one place. I find that oftentimes communities, when they change management or the previous person managed, they don't know where they place the receipts, who came the last time, where is the manufacturer warranty. It's embedded in our solution. We can provide you with a software where everything gets uploaded and keep record of who came, if there was any maintenance, and we can schedule the yearly maintenance here as well, and you find that in your phone.
Yeah, the advanced access application is for you guys to use so that you know exactly, and anytime one of our guys go up on the roof, there's pictures before, there's pictures after. The upside too is if you have a warranty issue. So if you call us and say, hey, we have a leak after the roof is done, first thing we do is we pick up the phone and we call Carlisle. And we say, we have an active leak, we're going out to investigate. They will say, okay, if it is an active leak and it's a warranty issue, then you are authorized to repair it at the maximum cost of $8,000. We come out here, you guys never have to do any paperwork, you never have to file a claim. We work directly with them, we invoice them, you will see on advanced access what we invoice them, and then they pay it to us directly. There's none of this, we got to go chase down Carlisle or the manufacturers and stuff like that. So, but this isn't supposed to be a sales pitch, this is supposed to be educational. But the other things that no matter who you look at, it's a very low cost to go from 20 to 25 years, by the way. So if anybody says to you, hey, you got a 20-year warranty, and for another $10,000, we'll up it to a 25-year warranty, don't do that. It's about $1,500 is what it costs us to upgrade from 20 to 25 years with a warranty. So don't get into that craziness that we see people. Besides the fact, most insurance companies aren't gonna let these roofs last 25 years. I mean, they're just not gonna allow it. You do need new leader heads, and downspouts. So, you know, we have priced that out so you guys understand. There may be, if we get up there and the inspector says, no, you don't, then no, you don't. We think you will, and so we priced it out so that they have the price of that, so they know. Crickets and scuppers we talked about, you need to do that, and we recommend that you do that. And if somebody comes up here and says you don't need them, ask them what the water flow. We will, by the way, once we clear this roof, we have engineers come up, and they come up and they look at the slope, they look at the pitch, and they make sure, we have to certify to the state, to the city, at Broward County, that we have done an engineering study so that we know what the water flow looks like on that roof, to make sure there's no flowing back. What keeps me awake on this roof is that if this pitch is not right, you don't have scuppers on the side of the building, for whatever reason. Worst case scenario, we have to put a scupper in the other side. Those are $1,800 for us to cut a hole in the parapet wall and add a scupper. So it's not a tremendous amount of money, so it shouldn't keep me awake at night, but it does. The rise stands, you have to do that. Those risers, anybody tells you they can do this roof without doing a lot of work on those risers, they're not being honest with you. And then make sure that because removing that conduit, all that conduit that's buried into that silicone and stuff like that, the stuff all has to get pulled up, and then put back down. You have spotlights up around your area and stuff like that, and we need to be rewired and put down. So we do pricing for all of that kind of stuff, so that you have it. Okay, any questions on A, B, C, D, or E?
Okay. Going back to the risers for the air conditioners, I understand what it's a long program, but I didn't understand it. You said permitting, you won't get permitted until we are agreeing to do that?
No, we'll get the roof permitted, you won't get an occupancy permit until.
Okay, so is that a staged approach to all of it go?
We do everything stage approach because we don't want to leave anybody without air conditioning for very long.
Right, so it's post-event, we don't
So-
see it.
Yeah, so typically what we will do is we will do as much roofing as we can get stripped and repaired in a day. So that we don't, like I said, and if we're going in and we're taking your air conditioning down, these guys are taking it down in the morning, we are roofing, and we're getting that air conditioning back up, hopefully that afternoon. Because it's just,
And thanks, sorry, this is Tim from Bristol.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tim from Bristol, thank you very much, sir, thank you.
Well, that's important.
Any other questions on it?
Yeah, I understand
Bill.
your presentation.
Bill,
Bill, you-
Avon.
Name and the people on Zoom don't know
me.
me well.
Question. I think most of the people that live here are going to ask you these questions. How long, how noisy, and what is it going to cost?
Okay,
And I think that's.
so I can tell you,
As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
that's the thing. I mean, I want to know, I've seen roof replacements and some terribly noisy.
Yep.
You know, how long will this
Yes,
take?
yep.
And so.
So I can answer the question. From beginning to end, 6 months. We will do it all in stages, but 6 months from beginning to end. Yes, it will be dirty, and yes, it will be messy. We clean up every day. We don't do jackhammering, so there's not like stuff up there jackhammering and stuff like that. You know, these guys may have some power tools that they need to bring up occasionally.
Right.
But there's not a tremendous amount of noise other than, you know, we will have a crane here lifting materials up, just like the crane. We will be less obtrusive and noisy than what
The
you're going to
concrete
do now.
people.
But it will be 6 months from beginning to end. Each building will take 15 to 18 years.
Yeah, and another great benefit of the feedback PPO is also that it's low odor. So you won't have the smell that you would have in modified bitumen or cold cartridge. That's
Remember the old days when you went to school and they re-roofed and you could smell the tar? We do it occasionally. but-
yeah, and a great way to put it is that that's the technology that also is getting roof. Before we used to have huge cell phones, and the fact that now it's smaller and cleaner does not mean that they're not better nowadays. So same with the roofs, it's just more technology of the roofs.
That's the new, the new shingles.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Any questions online?
Thank you.
On the Zoom, guys?
Any questions via Zoom for our presenters before we go to Heather Building? No, we're good. Okay. Zoom is happy.
I'll ask as many.
Yeah.
You keep referring to it as the roof. But in my view is there's a series of roofs. For example, I live on the third floor.
Yeah.
My building is 3 stories high, and then all of these roofs need replacement, or is it, you know?
All of your roofs, I apologize, I should be saying roofs. All of your roofs need replacement.
Including Heather.
And Heather needs replacement as well. And so this is Heather.
That's her.
So moving to Heather, this is an image of the roof from our drone. So we do not go up on sloped roofs when we inspect. We do inspect by drone on sloped roofs because guys fall off the sloped roofs and we don't like that. So when we look at the roof, we got to remove all that tile and the underlying existing wood deck. We'll inspect that. We have no way, without pulling off tiles, to know what that wood decking looks like under there. We suspect some of it's very good, and probably some needs to be replaced. So we suspect we'll be doing it. We're then renailing, sheathing, and everything, putting tin caps on, and then we put 2 coats of membrane on before we put the shingle tiles. Those shingle tiles pretty much have to stay those shingle tiles. We did talk about looking at flat and metal. And our understanding is in the condo docs that would be a material architectural change, and you'd have to get voted on by the community. We're happy to do it if that's what you want, but we would have to, I think it is
It's a process, yeah.
architectural change, and we would have to do it. So, so we're happy to price that out.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, ballpark price would be about 10 to 15% more
To do the mill.
to do the mill.
It's pretty. It's pretty pretty. And you can pick your color. And it's all made at a shop. But it is, we did try to look at the condo docs that we could get available, and we do think it's an architectural change for this, so you might have to. But if you tell us it's good,
The ones that I read, there's nothing
at all, yeah. And then we just talk about supervision, how everything. These are also 20-year warranty tiles that are on that roof as well. So we shouldn't have this problem for another 20 years.
Mhm.
So Heather was easy to talk about. Just FYI, if anybody, here's one of the gotchas that certain roofing companies do. They don't include permitting, they don't include testing. They will say, oh, we need to do an engineering test for the city. Gosh, we didn't know we were gonna have to do that. And then all of a sudden you get a $10,000 bill from the engineering company. All that stuff is worked in, all our permit fees, all our taxes, all of that stuff is already worked in. So we don't play those games. And again, there's about 4 weeks before we can get started. When you say go, we need 4 weeks for engineering. We do need about 15 weeks to get the materials, but we can get that because most of our materials we keep here. And then again, we will, every single day, whatever we take off the roof is gone. We have dumpsters here and stuff like that, but we do not leave stuff laying around the ground. You won't see tools laying around. If you do, you can pick up the phone and call me, and I'll make sure that it never happens again. Our guys are supposed to be very courteous. If you see our guys walking in or walking up, they should be saying yes sir and yes ma'am and no sir and no ma'ams. Because
They all time. Come on.
it's just the way it's just the way it's the way we treat. I would say this as an employee, and I think both of these folks will reflect something I'm saying is it is an amazing company to work for. They treat us really well. They work us pretty hard, but they treat us very, very well. And it's really cool to work for a company that is still, the founder is still there, and he's there every day. Okay, because this guy's going to make me show this. I did cut it down a little bit because I figured I had more than a 3.5 ton air conditioning unit. But here's what happens if he's able to sell multiple units. If you guys have more than 10 people that want units, they drop 5%. It drops, if it goes up to 30 to 50 units, drops 7.5%. And 51 plus drops 12.5%. The other benefit is the labor cost. This is the cost of the units, the labor cost, and wrapped in.
Yeah.
It's not all of a sudden you're paying for a compressor and then the labor for a guy to go up there and all that kind of stuff. And then we always know the benefit for us is when we always know if somebody rips our roof, we know who did it.
Yeah.
And, So, I think that's all I have.
Find us.
This is the maintenance program.
And before he wraps up with that last slide, and I think this is, you already said, we're not here to sell you. I think we, at Advance, work from the heart. We really empathize with people in the community. We wanted you to feel comfortable that the people that you're working with that are going to be protecting your home is in the capacity to do it. And we are. And I also wanted to say that it's less of a puzzle. Oftentimes when there is a big project like this, the roofer does its part, the HVAC does its part, and there is an issue. At the end of the day, they can point fingers all they want, but the people that live in the building are the ones impacted. Their livelihoods and their pockets. So we would love to, of course, work together. We have the HVAC capacity and we have the roofing capacity to take care of you, and the electrical as well.
Yes. That's all I got.
All right, thank you very much, thank you.
I have one question. Dave Murray, Essex 204. How many condo roof projects have you guys done in the last 5 years?
Florida condo roof products, last 5 years, probably 120.
And how many of those were Castle managed properties?
Gosh, I can check for you, but not a lot. We have a relationship with Castle, but we went through tremendous amount of, I can tell you right now, we're getting on 2 Castle property.
You don't know.
I can tell you what we're bidding on right now, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
And we can provide for reference letters and our portfolio.
Well, I'm sure you could find one. That's fine.
Thank you, Dave.
You didn't finish Bill's question about the price.
I was told I was not to disclose the price.
That's a board issue.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Thank you.
We haven't got it written in stone yet.
Yeah, we're still working, we're still finalizing some things, we're still doing some testing and stuff. Yeah.
No, that was a question for something that we were talking about the budget.
We have disclosed, and we're happy that once that comes out, to come and explain why it is the price that it is. We are, very open and honest, and I think that people are so happy to have that.
Let's be fair, we talked 1.5 at our last meeting. This is Tim from Bristol. We all said 1.5. We all heard 1.5. We all know now it's beyond 1.5.
We did that.
We did mention that there was 1.5 in the 500.
That was roughly, it was somewhere in that neighborhood, so we didn't mark it down, yeah.
It was an estimate based on several companies that have been approaching us on the work that we do.
It's a kind of an average.
We had an average general idea where it was
Yeah.
going, plus the half a million.
But nothing is set in stone, nothing is set in
It's
stone.
not set in stone time yet.
So, it's roughly, pricing with all of the extras and stuff like that, it's hitting us. It's not, I don't think it's exceeding,
No.
I think it's exceeding it.
Below.
I think if you're at 1.5, I think we're probably
Yeah, and
okay.
that was the ball we all threw around that we were all expecting, and that's actually in the grand scheme of things, the 230 units manageable comparatively speaking in the South Florida community. There are people who are getting $50,000 to $100,000 assessments for the same thing we're experiencing because they only have 30 to 50 units, based on 230. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't think it's really as bad as we all are anticipating. So this is one of those,
I don't think that's a fact.
I know, but I'm just saying, we all are just getting there and just trying to make sure that we reiterate that, and that's what we all are still experiencing.
Yeah, and one of the things that we try to do, you'll notice that when I showed some of the pictures, and I'm happy to share all the pictures of your roof with you, because we have about 200 pictures of your roof. We core each roof, and we core multiple places to try to make sure that if we see the potential of water or something like that we're coring in that area, because we hate to have, we are not one of those roofers, Rob will come here and talk to you personally, anytime we want him to. We are not one of those roofers who doesn't like change orders. There are some of our competitors that come in low and then change order. We are not one of those companies. We're happy to provide, folks that you can talk to. And I think that's one of the things they'll say is we didn't receive change orders, even if there's slight modifications.
And then I ask, how many bids are we getting?
We've been through 5.
This is a fifth,
This is one of,
this is the third.
now, there's